The new tax has split sections of the mining industry. Smaller companies admit they'll probably be better off, but they aren't happy they were excluded from the deal-making. And big business is feeling dudded because company tax cuts will be trimmed to pay for the breakthrough. Political correspondent Greg Jennett.
Always seen, always heard, and finally ignored.
I speak to you today more in sorrow than in anger.
Andrew Twiggy Forrest led the resistance to the tax, but when the serious talks began, Fortescue Metals were rank outsiders.
It's a shame that it's cut and dried by people who Mike described, the Prime Minister only days ago was saying were not companies which could be trusted.
The settlement hasn't won over the West.
I do not support it, but I recognise and I concede it is not as onerous as the previous proposal.
Colin Barnett sees a potential High Court challenge and can't understand why the taxman likes coal and iron ore, but nothing else.
If the price of uranium rises in coming years, which it probably will, presumably that's going to be drawn in. If the nickel price suddenly surges or the gold price, are they going to be drawn in?
In Queensland, happy days are here again.
Frankly, I am relieved that this mining tax argument is now behind us and we can get on and get those projects up and running.
Regional Queensland stood to take a hammering under the Rudd regime. Now certainty's been restored for billions of dollars worth of gas projects. Lurking within this settlement are the makings of an all-new dispute. Business isn't getting the company tax rates it expected, but still has to pay higher workers' superannuation. And it isn't taking it lightly.
Australia's employers now have less capacity to fund what will be a $20 billion hit on industry.
Heather Ridout was on the Henry Review that wanted a 5% drop in company tax. She isn't settling for just one.
It's deeply disappointing. The company tax changes weren't tax cuts as much as tax reform, and they now seem to be put off the agenda indefinitely.
They're vowing to fight for more after the election. Greg Jennett, ABC News, Canberra.